are going. Are we live? Are we live yet? We are live.
Yes, we are
Yay.
live. 2 seconds
All
in.
right.
Episode
All right.
47.
It's 47. I think I
47.
actually wrote. I wrote wrongly
48.
on the front end. It's 48. Yeah, that's my mistake. I'm gonna change that later. But anyway, it's episode 47. Welcome to the Three Marketers Show. And you see, we have Hot Ama here. Hey, by the way, we don't say Ama. Just she is a you cannot tell, right? She's a grandma, and she is so powerful in the way she look at things, the way she structured things. Right? Check that out. You see what they have to flash the gray hairs kind of thing, right? Anyway, welcome to the Three Marketers Show, episode 47. Today we go deeper.
We go inwards.
We go damn inwards. We have been talking about business and building and this and that, right? Today I think we want to actually go a little bit into our not here, our mind, and mind and heart lah, to discuss something more heavier, about how do we actually deal with our emotion. So basically, if this is the first time you see us, welcome to the Three Marketers Show. I'm Jason. I have my partners, Andrew on my left or right anyway, and Manfred. Today you see the new version of Manfred there, huh?
Yes.
Okay, we have no idea. Yeah, episode 47, we have the purple Manfred for no reason. I have no
what
idea.
happened when you hit episode 50? Probably go naked or something.
Maybe from today onwards, he's gonna probably every episode he's gonna change color already, and that will become a trend thing already. I don't know, but nonetheless, and we have Adrienne here. Adrienne is a very special guest we have today to really discuss something really deep, because Adrienne is a person who's able to connect art with mental health, mental well-being. That's why I actually put it on, mental health, right? Mental well-being. So that's the thing that kind of we don't get it, right? That's why we want you to come here and really understand how she connects these two things together. But to be very frank, it's a very interesting journey where how Adrienne and I cross paths. She came into one of my program, and I realized at one point I didn't understand. I couldn't understand what's this lady doing. We kind of we don't really get it. But really, welcome to the show, Adrienne. Can you say hi to the audience, please?
Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Adrienne, the Ama.
The
person that Jason didn't took some time to understand.
Took a while.
Yeah, you can literally call me hot, because it's the kind of sweat hot. It's the hot flash hot. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Hot Ama. So let's say some audience are here. So we have Jera saying hi to everyone. Yo, and say purple tea now, right? That's why I kind of don't get it. Maybe next round we go pink color already. Hi Intan. Hi. And and ST was saying what's the tire? Hey, I didn't without seriously I didn't know it's a tire. It looked I realized it's a tire.
Look like hamburger, right?
It's actually a hamburger.
It's a hamburger, SD. What tire? You something wrong over there. Mata Sepet, go and change your glasses. So and Gerard,
hamburger, you see?
Gerard, you don't get excited about Manfred naked, You don't get excited about Manfred.
Okay, let's not go there. Wait for.
You probably will get excited when Manfred sings.
Oh yeah.
Right.
What about sing naked?
I don't go there. I don't want to imagine that.
For our mental well-being, maybe you'll help.
Yeah, shift the episode to 12 o'clock. We're going to do a midnight
so
show.
we have Carrie's. Hi, Carrie's. Carrie's. I don't know whether I pronounce your name right. Singing nakedly, Gerard is already excited. Gerard is already excited. So so that's why we want to start today, warm up a little bit. Why? Because today we're going to discuss something very heavy. That's why we have some fun. We talk about Manfred's T-shirt, which is cool, right? And then Manfred singing, and we have a hamburger for some reason, looks like a tire. Now, today we want to really go from the angle where how can we actually take better care of our mental health? I remember a couple of weeks ago when we were interviewing Ron, right? One thing that Ron repeatedly mentioning was, stay healthy in your mind and your body as well. So that's really something that everybody should really look into. So today we have Adrienne here, the person who is really specializing in this topic. But Adrienne, let me introduce officially. Adrienne is a creative coach. That's why creative coach to certain people will be like, okay, creative coach means you help me get creative, or what? So what is that really? What is a creative coach?
Okay, basically, I'm a creative coach because I focus on generally helping my clients create positive change in all areas of their life by using art. Okay, so you have no wordy worksheets to do, but you have arty worksheets to do. Okay, and through art, we actually try to identify the mental blocks that these people are facing. For example, things that are hindering their vision, their sense of purpose and their goals. Right. So what I do is I create this creative framework and routines to help them. So at the same time, it fuels their creativity. It helps them to build confidence and also make them feel more empowered to do what they want to do. Right. So in my program, I will bring them through first understanding what is it that they're getting stuck at. We go back all the way from their childhood, and we try to see, and sift out if there are a lot of bad experiences perhaps that we may as a child have gone through, but as we grow older we forgot. But subconsciously it affects us in one way or another.
Gee, already the first question already gets so deep already.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so this is quite common actually. Most of us think we don't have a problem, but a little bit here and there. Okay, it's not major like earth-shattering problems, but it affects us in the way we act, we talk, we think.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I guess sometimes we basically numb that so that we don't get reminded of it, and over time you kind of forget. Yeah,
right. And then as you're growing up, you get distracted by other things, but actually deep down inside there is this little bit of, ember still glowing. It hasn't sparked off.
Adrienne, you're not going to make us cry or something, right? By then.
Hey, don't lie. Wait. It sounds so weird, but childhood thing, I agree. But I do agree that childhood thing really, because a lot of times it's really something that there was buried deep down.
Yeah.
That is affecting a lot of things that is happening around. I mean, especially in our lives, which will affect the way we do, we solve problems, the way we look at problems and all that.
Yeah. Like people say 家教, for example. Whether you are brought up in a proper way, we may not know how do we know as a child whether our parents are teaching us correct or not. We will only know when we grow up, or when we'll get told off, or we get scolded by somebody else, or when we open our eyes and realize that actually that's the wrong way to act. But this is part and parcel of what happens to a person when you are young. It just all get buried, and not everything gets discovered anyway. Okay. Enough about that. Now don't make three grown men cry.
Okay, that hamburger guy will cry but seriously, but Gerard was saying, Gerard has bitchy problem. Okay, so so that's another bitchy show that's happening. So Gerard, right? But I want to dig deeper a bit, Adrienne, if you don't mind. Can you help us understand so how do you help us discover this thing? Yeah. I mean, of course, we do know that there is a framework or method to it, but can we give it some example? How do you discover for us?
By accident. Myself, last night when I had a talk with Jera on our live, she was asking me what I wanted to be when I was young. I said I wanted to be an artist. But at those times, I'm already a grandma, so I don't want to name the year, but but when you're at that age, when you want to be an artist, it's a taboo. It's not. Yeah.
A drawing artist or singing artist or what?
No. Painting
artist.
Artist. Right. Yeah.
Singing is Manfred.
Singing is Manfred. Okay. Yeah, but you see, you don't get to fulfill that kind of dream because it's just not something any normal person does. And you're not going to get any support from your family or your parents especially. Okay. So this thing was buried inside me. Once in a while I dabble, but you don't even seriously think about buying the right materials and things to do because you think that I don't waste time now. After that I won't do it because it's already ingrained in you that it's not something you do actively, right? But in the last few years, because I'm actually from an interior design background, how I started was because limited budget.
Right.
I emphasize a lot on artwork to come together and be a focal point in my design space. But as I go around, it was so difficult to find a piece of art that fits the decor, my intent, fits my budget, and comes in the right size. So I either buy and then I've got to modify, change frame, do all sorts of silly things and waste some more money until one day I got fed up. I said, no, I'm just going to try. And good thing for me, I had two friends who actually have a framing workshop in Johor, Malaysia. So we are very good friends. So I said to them to prepare some canvases for me, and that was how it accidentally got started. I started to paint for my own jobs. And then after that, since I have the material, right, I started to try all sorts of rubbish. Or like you see all these things behind me, those were all my test pieces.
I see.
You know,
Test pieces already remarkable.
Very sweet. Where got
Sweet. See, Manfred want to buy 5 already. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you, Manfred. I'll call you later. Manfred, I prefer to do big one. Small one, I don't like small one.
Hey, Manfred, don't forget, now Adrienne has graduated that she has a mobile stripe ready. You know, all you need to do is you contact you, give you a link. You are screwed, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, but Manfred, make sure you do one thing, you know. Yeah, if you actually get commission like Adrienne to do something, right, don't do a hamburger that looks a bit weird. Your wall at the back, right, can do a lot of things there. To be frank, right? You see what? That's nice, that's not bad.
Oh, can do a lot. Yeah, that's a very nice wall.
Yeah,
nice
man, that's a big wall. You will have the depth that you wanted, right? So that's the thing. You can get Adrienne's big painting over there.
But
Okay,
Adrienne, talking about
you all know how to get in touch with me. I'm ready to take orders.
talking about painting, I used to do, well, my painting is crap, but I used to do, during my teens, I do paint a lot. I dabble with acrylics, watercolors, and at one point, perspective drawing, which is the initial part of what I call it, interior design or architecture. I had interest in that, and it was self-learned. My passion after school was to visit a little store in Petaling Street. I think it was called Venus Art. There was another one, and they sell brushes. We're talking about Windsor brushes. We're talking about all these things. And, I was lucky because my dad. I know. And even when I was a kid, when my parents go to shopping, what I do is I'll insist that they drop me at the bookstore, and I start reading books. I'll spend hours there. I'll ask them, you go, and then I'll just sit there because those were so bloody expensive, $300-400, and especially those about comic drawing and all those things from Marvel and DC, $300-400. So I would just spend hours just sitting on my own and going through the books because obviously I can't afford it. And I even participated in those comic drawings and all those things.
That's Andrew. Really, like,
this is something that you don't learn
opening up about the childhood desire that was really buried deep down, right? So probably it's time to start.
Because I don't like mixing with people, and my private time was. And the thing is this: in my old days, in my former house, those days no aircon, nothing, and it's government housing. The first floor in the afternoon it's like super hot one. It's almost like an oven. But I actually spent hours there in the afternoon, just drawing, painting, and testing, basically stuff like that. My drawing skill and coloring is still crap, but I just enjoy that solitude. And I agree to a certain extent that it is very relaxing because you can actually create stuff, in your own way.
Don't cry, Andrew. Don't cry.
That's nice. It's a good way to go back. Those were pleasant days.
Yeah, childhood, right?
Yeah, calligraphy and all those things.
But you can still do that thing because exactly that's how Adrienne helps her clients. Really, because like you said, art helps you soothe your mind. It gives you that kind of So Adrienne, your program is really gonna help us, anyone who needs help, to actually discover. So who might need your help? How does it work and who need you? Who are the people that should come to you?
Who are the people who should come to me? People who have problems. First of all, they must appreciate that they can do something with their own hands. and that they like art. Not do that. Okay, those so serious one, I don't think, okay, because I don't think I'm qualified enough. Okay?
That's psychotic already, lah.
Yeah. No, actually, going back to where I was just now first, what got me into it was because the same kind of art and the whole process helped me. Okay, before, sorry?
Do tell. Yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah. So before the pandemic started, I was already having this uneasy feeling that I don't know how long more I'm going to do interior design. And people are getting more and more difficult. And I'm a one-person show. So on a good day, I'm the diva designer. On the bad day, I'm also the cleaning auntie in the show unit, cleaning it myself. So it's very tough when you're one person to handle interior design jobs. You can't take too many because you have deadlines. And if the money don't come, you're just stuck dead, right? So all these problems were coming, and it just so happened that I ordered some spare canvases, paints, and brushes. So I started already painting for my design jobs and all that. And after that, weekends, I will try all these kind of things behind me lah, because there's recipe and all that, and it didn't work, so I will keep playing with it. Up to a certain time, I realized that I wasn't so worried about what interior design would do to me, whether I should continue, whether I should not. All these worries seem to have sort of gone away or hidden somewhere. And one day it just dawned on me that it could be because I'm so engrossed in art that I'm able to, not sweat over the other real job. Okay, so I got curious. I went online. I went to find out about, the psychology behind the benefits of art, got myself into a course, studied, handed up my assignment, and guess what? I got certified. So,
nice.
So I got certified as a therapeutic art life coach, which means that I understand and I can use art as a means to help people for therapeutic purposes.
Wow,
right?
I like that.
Awesome.
Like that.
Awesome. So I think that explained. Manfred got a question already. First phone number,
right? Here you go.
So seriously, cannot draw, cannot take up your program.
Good question.
If I seriously
guys,
cannot draw,
No, he doesn't have a passion for drawing. Actually, art is not about drawing. Art is an expression.
You can. We will come to that in quite soon.
Okay.
You can. I will emphasize on what is the kind of art we're talking about, or at least a little bit more about the process.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically my first answer as a creative coach is helping people using art as my modality.
That's nice. So that is already only the first question. We already spent about 18 minutes on this one. That's nice.
And almost cry some more, right?
Yeah. People talk about last time, long time ago, spent hours in bookstore and spent hours.
You can lose yourself in art a long time without, you're totally free.
I agree.
You're focusing on your art, nothing else happens. Your environment, everything is totally off. That's one thing I can vouch for it.
Yes. That's
one thing that you should. Yeah.
Sorry?
You're saying your next dream?
My next dream is to have my own studio, but I don't have to tidy up every time I finish.
Right. Yeah, that's so cool.
So
just leave the splattered paint, leave the protection, leave my brushes, just soak in water, go home, tomorrow come and continue again. Like right now, I clean up every time, and that alone is very tiring.
I know. When you clean your palette and your brushes and you got to flush them properly, it takes a couple of hours.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, that is two artists talking already. But nonetheless, I think that's a very good time span, at least to understand what are the things art can do, as in creativity can do for us in terms of helping us to discover our mind blocks and even to actually help us soothe our minds. In fact, how Adrienne explained, somehow when you focus on one thing, you kind of all the problems become not that relevant, and that will help you pull yourself out, I think, in a way to look at the problem again in a very new perspective. So that's awesome. Now we know what we can do. Yeah, sorry?
These are all proven by experts who have done researches and studies. Yeah. art actually benefits a person a lot.
Right.
It's not about whether you can or cannot do it. It just benefits you no matter how you do it.
No matter how you do it. I think that's the way.
No matter
So
how you
basically,
do it.
yeah. So I want to push this question further on this one. Is creativity important for general well-being?
Oh, that's a good question.
Of course.
By the way, all these questions came up by our friend Manfred.
Yeah.
He's our questionnaire in expert.
So yeah.
Okay, so the question is whether creativity is important for general well-being. Okay, even if it's not for general well-being, creativity is very important. Okay, it is creative thinking that will make us question status quo, make us identify problems, and make us come out with new and innovative way to create improve positive change. Right? So people who say they are not creative, bullshit. Everybody is. Okay, being creative does not mean that you have to apply it on an art activity. Being creative could be coming up with an idea that nobody has thought of,
Yep.
could be digging into your fridge and then just adding nonsense ingredients and making a nice dish. That's being creative.
Yep.
Right? So creativity is actually very, very important to individuals, to families, to communities, okay, to the whole world at large lah, right? So in my program, I emphasize on this a lot because people will come in thinking that they are not creative. So first of all, we got to kill that thinking, okay? And by proving to them when they do their art, look, when you're stuck, you can, what about you try this? What about you try that? And then they realize that, they're doing things that they've never thought of before. And through time, of course, with some practice, this creativity will come back to them and they will improve in it. You know, and of course, when you are trained, when you practice thinking like this, it applies to the other parts of your life. You suddenly realize that, now I can courageously think of rubbish, nonsense, because it may work. Yeah. So creativity is really very important.
Now I can see where you're coming from. So in a way, I think part of the program is to actually empower these people with the possibility, meaning that you want to help them feel that, look, you can actually find ways to do things differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And because, currently my target audience are middle-aged women. Middle-aged women, why? Because they have reached this stage whereby a lot of them lose confidence. Either they've been cooped up at home looking after children and husband for too long, or they've been in a career for so long that they fell into a particular pattern. They don't know how to get out of that box anymore.
Okay.
Or at this age, something major happened to them, and then it affects everything else. So creativity is like the last of the priorities, right?
Okay.
So when they come to the program, you need to nurture it. You need to bring this up to them and remind them that, hey, you should be creative. You have to be creative if you want to find a better future, right? Because I will only hold your hands for that few weeks that we're together. After that, what happens? That's where you dig out your homework and recall and practice them in real life.
Right. That sounds like a very cool thing. Not just, Manfred.
Yeah, sorry. Creativity, is it something like based on how much you have been exposed and able to absorb and apply? Say example, like Steve Jobs, he doesn't know that he want to do iPhone in the first place. But due to the fact that he do calligraphy, all these things, bits and pieces here and there, all the information, then when he's tasked to do the iPhone or something, Mac, then everything comes together. Am I right to say that?
Yes. You need something to spark you, right? So in my case, I use art activities to spark them. Okay, it doesn't mean that after you sort of graduate from my program, you become an artist. No. Okay, I just put you in through the processes of thinking creatively, right? And especially when people who don't do it, I think it's even more rewarding because they'll be able to see a difference.
So you're using art as a mechanism by which you use that to trigger the sense of creativity or the wonderment of creativity in the person, as opposed to
Yes.
teaching them to become an artist, because there's a technical side of artists.
That's
So this is not an
art is just
artist
a
program,
medium. Yeah, it's just a product or a focus an activity that you do, that eventually to rediscover that you can actually be creative, because you can create
correct.
anything from a blank piece of paper
Correct.
or canvas.
Yeah. Yes, of course, a lot of it was also through my own experiments. And then I also slowly discovered that, hey, I can do this, I can do that. I don't have to follow the instruction. It still works.
Yep, that's very
You know?
true.
Now that you mentioned it, I think, the childhood experience helped where I am now. Makes sense.
Yes, of course.
Makes sense.
It affects all of us.
Yeah.
It sounds
Good or
like
bad.
Andrew is going through the discovery process already.
No, now
So,
that you mentioned it makes sense, because I'm in an experimental mode. If Jason tells me stuff, then I'll experiment, and I found out something, I'll experiment. And that's what happened when I was younger. I was experimenting with, for example, like calligraphy. I was also interested in calligraphy. I even went to the point of, when people buy comics books, those days you have the Chinese Hong Kong comic books, then you have the DC and Marvel comic books.
Yeah.
And I get those, especially the cheaper ones, are those ones, not because of the story, but because I wanted to learn how they draw the muscles, how they use the inking. There's the inking and there's the coloring and there's the painting for the comic books. And actually the shadow of the inking and all those things. Long story short is this. By virtue, I can actually create stuff whenever I look at something. It may not be the best, but it has given me the confidence that I could create something out of nothing based on something that I see.
Yes.
So the keyword is, when you're able to do that, you feel empowered.
Yeah.
And you actually, it gives you the feel to do things, even to see yourself
this
differently.
Afternoon, I just solved an issue with email authentication, something that's super complicated, and I went through, learned it, went through different websites, and I worked with the client and I solved his issue with regards to authentication. And I'm not even trained based on that. So basically, is as long as you have this inside you that you can solve this problem. May not be the best, but you will somehow find ways around it, and somehow or other information will flow to you, and you can pick up certain elements of information and say, okay, this is what will work.
Yes.
There's a hunch, and you do it.
That was creativity at play.
Yeah.
And what triggered it was you just needed to switch on that switch inside there somehow. Yeah. So some people will take a long time because they don't even know where the switch is. Okay, but some people will accidentally trigger that switch and then realize that, hey, today I'm very clever. I solve a lot of things unexpectedly.
They're very clever. Manfred,
very clever.
I got something to add.
Please.
We are actually the sum of our total experience. Some experience that may be positive or negative that make us the person we are right now at a given point of time. And
that's true.
Sometimes if you look back, if we are not the sum of our own experience, the things that we gather and collect in life, then you just strip them all away. We are just masses of flesh and bone and blood vessel. That's it. Seriously.
Well said. Well said. That's the
Manfred,
reason why.
That's the IQ, Manfred.
Purple shirt help me, you see.
Purple shirt. Okay, the moment Manfred is in purple shirt, he is like super smart already. The real super smart will show.
So now we know, right? Every time he puts on a purple t-shirt, better beware of him.
No. Okay. We will love him because
whatever you just said, Manfred, is exactly the reason why I'm targeting middle-aged women. Why? I am middle-aged. I've gone through it, and I realized that if I, at my age, can get over these hurdles, why not anybody else whose problem may even be smaller than what I experienced myself? Okay, because I've gone through up, I've gone through down. Not that it's so
drama.
It's not that it's so drama, but still, at every stage of my life, there was a lesson learned.
That's true.
Definitely. Very true.
Yeah. And when I realized that art can trigger, these two should be married together.
That's very nice.
Don't
Yeah.
middle-aged men have this issue?
Yeah, maybe we should bring this up already. I think the next question will be about this. Like what?
Next one.
What are the real issues that we are talking about? But maybe we should also look at the men's side, right? We also have issue.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not yet. But anyway, we'll come to a point,
We
right?
all have issues. Definitely. It's just whether we show it or we acknowledge it or not.
But what are those? What are those?
Yeah.
For the benefit of discussion, come.
Yeah.
We
Let's
talk
show some
about
empathy.
women first, okay?
Okay.
We talk about women first. Okay, women, when you get into this period of transition, okay, you are actually still holding on to your memories of your old self, your young self. And then you're also wondering about your old self in the future.
Okay.
You get what I mean? So you're stuck in this position whereby you can't bear to let go of that young self, and you are so afraid to go to the old self because you don't know what she's gonna look like. As it is, the body parts are already breaking down. Right? The body is really changing. Hormones are going crazy, wrecking your body system and the way you function. Right? And at this stage of their life, it's where a lot of things change. First of all, relationship. Okay? Husband and wife, of course, can be sweetie, lovey, buddy the whole time. But come on, after 30, 40 years together, you think it will still be like that? You know?
Talk already.
Right? So number one, it's partner's relationship. And then, of course, the next thing, which is like intimacy, for example, I'm sure you'll be affected. Right? Once your relation is no good, where got time for intimacy? Correct or not? Don't even touch me. I can't stand it. Can you go away? That's the kind of mentality, right? The next relationship issue will be with children. Why? At that stage, they are, if you can afford it, they're at the stage where they're going overseas to study. Okay? If you can't afford it, they also have their own life to lead.
That's
right?
true.
And then another part of relationship is they're so old that they are old enough to get married and they move out of the house. So suddenly you find yourself in this situation where you are suddenly alone. Okay, in the past, the kids needed you. Every damn thing, they needed you. Your husband needed you, but suddenly nobody wants you anymore. You are just zero.
Right.
You don't know where you stand. Okay, that's
Right.
that's the biggest issue everybody faces. Of
Right.
course, the next thing is loss of youth. Loss of youth means your appearance is affected. You're not as pretty as before. You can't fit into that same 24-inch dress that you used to wear. And then you start to think back and you start to have memories of good things that happened, and then you have this regret that you have lost that time. Okay, and when all this are happening, you realize that, oh shit, then what's my life purpose? All along, I thought that my purpose was to earn money or
Look after the
bring up my
family.
children,
Yes,
or bring
yes,
up my
yes.
children properly. Now
Yeah.
that, okay, been there, done that, check. Nothing left on the list.
Right.
Yeah, so they become an empty hollow shell. Okay, so that's the reason why women will face it a bit more than men. Not that men don't have issues. Okay, during one of our talk, we were talking about menopause and how these hormones are wrecking up a woman's body physically and mentally. Okay, then I also told Jera and Mickey that actually men also have menopause. Men's menopause is called andropause.
Okay.
Okay, men
What is
also
that?
have. You go through this stage where your body changes, your hormones changes, and psychologically, you can also have some of the problems that women face: loneliness, isolation, not being wanted, not clever enough, too old to climb ladder, but your youth is
Take
lost.
forever
You
to
cannot
wear the
find
purple shirt.
Yeah, there's time you wear purple shirt.
or
There's
worse
time you wear
still,
purple.
keep putting in but cannot put in. It becomes coordination problem lah. You're slow. I mean, there's hell a lot of issues that can happen to both men and women in middle age.
That's true.
Right.
That's
So all
true.
these physical inadequacies are enough to bring, no matter how big his ego is, it will still drown him. Correct? I used to be, I mean, I think we all hear this either from our dad, uncles, or whatever.
Yep.
Last time when I was young, I da. That was last time. We used to say, that was when police were wearing shorts.
Right.
Right? But now they realize that they can't. That's the reason why they keep talking about the past.
Very true. I also find myself doing that nowadays. Yeah.
Oops. Shall we get into a discovery call later, Andrew? I think you need a lot of
imagine for a woman's standpoint, when they were young, they were teenager, they wanted to be at the center of attention. And then when they went to marriage and with family, they became the center of attention because as a mother and all those things, everything surrounds you. Right.
Yes.
When the kids grew up, and and obviously relationship kind of like the husband kind of got used to it, you move to a phase where you're no longer the center of attention.
Correct.
Because nobody technically needed you, unless they want you to just look after their grandkids or something, or their kids or something, but that's for it. But generally you're on the periphery because the kids have their own life, the husband has their own pursuits or whatever it is.
Correct.
And unfortunately at the same time, your physical body will not be able to support it. So that's for the women's side. For the guy's side is, we were adventurous, we could do everything when we were younger. And then when we reach that age now, that physically we were not able to do the crazy stuff that we were able to do when we were 20, 30 or 40.
Correct.
But we still have that urge to do this. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Very
of course.
Very
I
interesting.
mean, this is a little bit more physical that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But if I want to talk about something a bit more emotional, men may also come to a stage where they realize that they should have been more loving. They should have been more outspoken. They should actually show their love and their emotions more to their partner. Because why? Now that they need all the attention and care, the wife can't be bothered with me anymore because I didn't show it to her.
Yeah. 30 years too late.
Yeah, so very good for not practicing it before. So now you get it as well. Right? So
Seriously,
guys do have problems. Guys do have problems.
Right.
I think this is really eventually happen to everyone. You come to a point where because it's like what do we call, you're crossing it over to another stage of your life.
Correct.
And eventually it's part and parcel.
Months like that, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, man.
So bringing back to this, knowing the situation now with the middle-aged woman, or to a certain extent guys, how do this apply to your art then? How does that art bridge fill that gap? Now that we identified there's a gap.
Yeah, I mean, before we go into that, right? But no, I just want to quickly say hi to the audience. We were so indulged in our discussion, we forgot to.
Hello,
yeah, man. We have Oppa here, but I don't know whether it's sticky there. Yeah, Junyan is here, and Jera was saying people are creative but don't know how to express. So art will help them. I like that. That's one. Jera, you wearing purple today, huh? So. So Intan was saying, I think it's the need to digging everything, then only we know what creative we are, how creative we are. I think that is yes.
Dig within you, yes.
And Jaya was saying why he took so long to wear purple. I think that actually goes to Manfred. Manfred, today onwards your color is purple, huh? So
today is because of Adrienne.
So next time maybe Jaya, when Jaya comes back, right, he's gonna wear pink.
Jera, are you jealous?
Intan was saying because the age stop at 30-year-old, can't go older than that as women are. Well, that's very.
Yes. I mean, that's everybody's desire, but do you think it really works like that? Unfortunately, not. So if it works, it's because here you are tuning it to work. Okay, but from here down, it's all not working. Right? So if you cannot have here working, then bloody well make sure this is working.
Right.
And
at least you get this working.
Exactly. And you see why do I know all these problems? Like I say, I've been through it. I've got friends in that age. I've seen problems happen to people that age. I've witnessed it. Okay. And I realized that it all boils down to psychological. Okay. You know, many times somebody who is totally lost, has got no purpose, actually all they needed now was somebody to just sit down and listen to them talk.
Very true.
You know, many times it's just for you to shut up, open your ears, give them a listening ear and listen to them. And then after that, offering some consolation or some small help along the way. So for my part, what I do is I use art. Why do I use art? Because it doesn't seem so serious. It doesn't put them on guard. You know, by using art, I'm actually bringing them back to their childhood. You know, when you're a child where you didn't care how you drew. When the teacher said draw a cow, you just draw something purple. And to you, it's a cow.
Yep.
Right? As an adult, can any of you be confident that you can draw a proper cow? I mean, yes, there'll be a lot of people who can do it, but generally people's answer will be, I don't know how. You know? But what if I told you that you can also still draw a purple cow, because as long as you say it is a cow, it is a cow.
Yes, that's true.
Who's to argue with you? You are the creator. Who's to argue with you?
Yep.
Right? Right. And if they don't see it, then you tell them, then you have no creativity, lor. I'm sorry.
Something wrong with your head, right? Yeah.
Wrong with you, not with me. My cow is purple, so what's the problem?
Yeah, that's too bad, man. Yeah, that's
when Jenna was saying she's wearing lavender. Wow, you see, like it's the color that makes the brain, right? I think, So in terms of saying,
what does purple signify in
I don't know. Purple is wisdom. No?
Purple is wisdom.
Serious? Yeah. I don't know. Purple is wisdom, right?
Purple, I think, is wisdom.
Well, that's why
blue is red is passion and all. Blue is
blue is trust.
Blue
is trust.
Okay. There is actually a book called Purple Cow by
Seth.
Remember?
By Seth.
Yeah, Seth
has one. I have it. I have it over here. So I mean, okay, so that's a lot. That's a very heavy topic. We're talking about deep down, but
I need a drink already.
I mean, nonetheless, guys, if you need help, you know who to talk to. I'm gonna bring up Adrienne's group. She has a very interesting group where she goes live with Jera, and sometimes we might come in and join for fun from time to time. Yeah, every Tuesday to discuss. Yeah. So later I will share with you the link. So stay tuned to that. But nonetheless, I think I want to bring back to more. Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and talking about this, right? So what about entrepreneurs? What are the common mental health challenges we face? This one, I think, I think this is heavy, definitely. Entrepreneurship is like
definitely.
It's like an indefinite shithole, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. So a lot of people suicide, especially those startup founders and all that, right? But
I used to say that entrepreneurs generally are suicidal in nature.
Yeah, just kind of like that.
Okay, the funny thing is this. To be an entrepreneur, you must have pretty strong emotional state, correct? Because you should be naturally energetic, motivated, and creative. Right? If not, how do you dream up ideas and products and services to sell?
Correct.
You know, so you must have this kind of innate qualities in you to be able to be called an entrepreneur. Right?
And it's a lonely life, by the way.
Yeah. And the thing is, the fact that you have this kind of strong emotional states also means that you are very vulnerable to mood swings.
Makes sense. Yes.
Okay. And when you're vulnerable to such emotional changes in your head and mind, that, if not kept properly, will go into depression, despair. Some days you feel that I'm worthless. I have no more motivation. I might as well die. I waste so much time already, and yet it's not working. Okay, because let's face it, launching a business is a damn bloody brutal experience. Okay. Also complaining. Okay. It's a very brutal experience. Okay, you're a hero only when you succeed.
Yeah.
Right? And when you succeed, people only see the good part. Did they know about the time when you were struggling, you only had $10 left, you were going through anxiety, you don't know whether the $10 to spend on FB ad or to buy chicken rice.
Very true. Very true.
What a choice to make. Bloody hell.
It's like, why don't I go hungry? Maybe my $10 can become $1,000.
That's true.
You know, but then again, if no sales come in, I will die by tomorrow because I haven't eaten for 5 days.
Yeah.
That's
so,
brutal.
you know,
But it's so true.
And the hard part about entrepreneurship is also when you're showing up, like 4 of us like that, can I show that, you know, I am weak? I can't what? I cannot show people this vulnerability what? You know, I got to, what experts call it, this impression management, the fake it till you make it look.
Right.
Correct? You cannot show people your vulnerability. So in order to be able to do all this and yet go through all the struggles of trying to make your business work, guess what's happening in here? It's corroding. Right? So basically, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a man or a woman, you go through the same kind of mental problems. Okay? And yeah, it's just how big and how small.
True. Like Richard was saying, right? When you succeed, everybody say brother, sister. You know, before that, I don't know that. That's brutal.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
That is. We celebrate success, but we don't celebrate the journey.
Yeah, and then Gerard says you buy chicky rice with the 10. Why not ads? You know,
Look after self first before look after Facebook.
Yeah, true also lah. You makan lah. Then tomorrow at least you can find a job if you can't get it.
You figure out something.
Yeah, true.
No, you know, if it happens to me, I'm gonna tell Jason, can you please take my $10 and please make it 100?
Right.
I do my best.
That's a smart one.
After that, I will take $50 from my 100. And then the other 50, I'll give it to her and say, okay, now go and make 5,000 for me. I need to eat. I need to pay bills. My water got cut off.
Actually, very true. You know, very true. Seriously, entrepreneurship is like how Andrew describes it. I think everybody knows it, but seriously, sounds like entrepreneurs really need help mentally.
Entrepreneurship is a wild ride lah. It's a very wild ride.
Super wild.
Down. Yeah, so it definitely takes anybody a lot of guts and a very strong mental wellness to be.
Or probably the guy is just nuts.
Yeah.
You know, that he's not in the right state of mind and he's just do all these things all the way. Yeah, Manfred is a serious one.
What you all just mentioned reminds me of someone told me this. Sometimes success looks like being pregnant. Everybody congratulate you. Hey, you got a baby coming up. Everyone congratulate you. But nobody know you cannot F how many times.
I was thinking about the 9 months. I didn't thought about
that. You, what the Must be the purple shirt. Okay.
Correct what? 10:49.
Everything goes wrong.
We've gone into the adult hour already, so that's
you win. You're so right. You're damn right. You win.
Now I know why you all do live at 10 o'clock.
You know, right? Seriously, this is Manfred version.
Sleep.
Yeah, this is Manfred version 46.
You're right.
We just didn't think of coming from that.
We didn't see that coming.
We didn't want to say from that angle.
I was thinking about the pain, the vomiting, you know.
No, because angle like Manfred mentioned only happens when you're in a pub drinking. You will say not
Manfred, you got.
Everyone is drinking right now, so that's why
you got your thing over there. You got your leg over there, or what? You got your liquor over there.
You
must be drinking yourself, okay. So that's soju inside, right? I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's totally agree. So I mean, apart from entrepreneurs, of course, not everyone entrepreneurs, but I believe at current state, the current world that we are in right now is also putting a lot of people through a lot of mental issues. Like working from home is not damn easy, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, to a lot of people it's like the hardest thing. I cannot imagine those with those with multiple children. Wow, I tell you, with children at home, and these children have so much energy, they don't know where to release, so they'll do whatever, all that crazy thing, and you still have a work to do.
Oh yes.
You are working from home. You need to take care of the client's calls and meetings and all that shit. And then you need to cook. You need to do all this. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
So definitely working from home definitely will affect. No matter how nicely organized you have done this whole thing, no matter how well you have organized to fit into this new role, definitely there'll be some setbacks. First of all, like what Jason mentioned, the lack of that private space and time. When you're in the office, even if you don't have a room, you have your own table, right? Even if you don't have a table, you have your own hot desk position, right?
Yeah, when you spend time alone, you do your thing.
Correct. But when you're at home, even if you have a study, your family members may forget. Like I kena from my daughter in the beginning because I keep forgetting that she's on a Zoom call. I would just walk past her and ask her what she's going to eat for dinner. And she's in the middle of a meeting with her boss. And she'll give me a death stare. So I also had to learn through that because I forgot.
Right.
You're just so used to them working at home when it is on their off day or playing with computer over the weekend. You forgot that they're actually now working from home and they have serious calls to make.
Yeah.
Right? So
I find that there's the personal space has gone compared to when you're
totally
working from
gone.
office.
Totally gone. Yeah. So what if you have your own room,
Yeah.
If your wife is struggling with something in the kitchen and scream, are you gonna ignore her and sit in the room? You're not, what?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? While you're at work, she can't blame you because you cannot hear her. But if you're at home, do you deliberately not go out and help? You can't.
Then you have whatever issue already. When you are midlife, whatever, then you will
all
get that
starts
thing
off.
back.
That's true.
That's where it all starts, right?
Yeah.
And then
Very true.
I think the other issue is also when I stay at home, you tend to feel that you're very disconnected from the outside world.
Yes, 100%.
Right? At the very least, you step out of the house, whether it's good, it's bad, whether it is good sharing or gossip, at least you have somebody to la kopi with you, talk nonsense,
The lack of
something to share, right?
Mister, man.
At home, will you la kopi with your wife? Maybe some will lah, but it's different, right? La kopi is
It's
la
different.
kopi. With friend is different one,
Yeah, it's different.
right?
Very
So
true.
whether it's social or professional, you just feel isolated, very disconnected, right? And then I also notice something like when I see my daughter and my son-in-law work, they don't switch off one. They tell me later on at 5:30, then I tell you, 6:15 they are still in a meeting. 7 o'clock they are still in a meeting, and I'm down there wondering, so do I cook that or I don't cook that? They can't even give me a simple yes or no.
Right.
That's where I realized
What
that
comes first, what comes first?
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Actually, it's
you
not
don't
healthy,
have
you
No,
yeah,
not
you don't
healthy.
have to
Not healthy.
get out of a door. You don't have to take transport. You don't have to change from your work clothes. That's why you cannot. Your brain doesn't know that you're off work.
Yeah, they can't switch off.
You
They're
can't
so
switch off.
To make things worse, sometimes boss always believe that when you work from home, you are actually lazing around. You are not doing your best. And
I think I
that's a sad thing,
Yeah.
I beg to differ. No, I think it's even harder.
Yeah.
It's even harder to lock off. Some more, you don't punch card. What? Even for companies where they require to punch card, now there's no card to punch. Right?
And to make things worse, if you have to talk to US office at unearthly hours,
Yes.
Yeah.
time out of bed. 3 a.m.
Yes.
in the morning, power.
Or
Crazy.
suddenly at 11:30 at night, your boss suddenly texts you and say, "Hey, the meeting that we had at 4 o'clock today, I suddenly thought of the solution already. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, we quickly get into a meeting." You get what I mean? You finish a meeting from 4 to 6. He calls you at 11:30 to tell you of his idea and asks you to organize a meeting at 7 a.m. because he wants to get it quickly done by 10. What?
Then you do agenda.
Happens all the time. I think this
You
is
cannot rest.
Yeah.
You cannot have proper rest.
These are all the real problems, like, I guess, right? And
Very real.
instead
These
of
are very real.
Yeah, instead of having a easier time, your to-do list, I think, can never be ticked off one.
true.
Right.
But by the way, I think we are really like we're having fun over here, right? It's like almost 11. But before we have more questions to go. Let's see how much we can cover. But before that, I just want to really give a quick shout out to everyone. Yes. If you guys want to join Adrienne's Facebook group, right? So this is a link that you go. Just want to quickly put it up there. But Manfred, you have your next chapter. That's a very, very, very interesting. The next chapter. So go ahead and join this group. You guys talk. It's a different rated kind of content inside, I don't know. So go have fun. I think it's fun. I actually watched the replay yesterday. I think it's fun. And, check it out. Man. And Richard was saying entrepreneurship is like sprint. Train for years to chase the sub 10. Actually, it's a marathon, my friend. It's never a sprint. It's either way to look at it, right? Yeah. So you in a way it's a marathon because you can never be so prepared. It's not so much about training, it's about constant doing it, right? Yeah. You hit your first milestone, you want to chase the second milestone. Yeah, true. You hit your first 1,000 subscribers, you want to go for that 20,000 or 10,000, and it never ends. And it's something that can only be done through consistent. I mean, Jason, we talk about it, when you do your YouTube videos, you can't just sprint and do 30 videos and say, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do any more videos. No, you got to go to the next 30 videos and you go to another next 30 videos. And it never ends. It never ends. I would actually agree to that. I would actually agree. You can't sprint. You kill yourself if you sprint. Ain't going to happen. That's true. It's true. And Gerald was saying it's a marathon. Yes, it's a marathon. And building long-term and recurring, right? It's actually, that's very true. So let's see what we're going to do first. But Manfred, you want to do your, let's talk about so that we can divert our attention away. This is not too reflective. Let's go down a little bit. Very depressing. Help me share the link, the Wakana. I am taking the Wakana, right? What's it? Wakana, is it? Wakana. I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm bringing it up right now. That's like a stressful topic. Every time I go research, I open a lot of Google Chrome tabs. Happily open a lot. Then sometimes the computer crash or something, or the browser crash, or you lost all your. Of course, you can still retrieve out from history, but I don't think you're so hardworking to manually open up. So this Wakana is actually a Google Chrome extension. Okay, so you organize all your docs, tasks, and objects in the next team project. So everything they have a record. So when you open up your Chrome again, they'll reopen it. Okay, less chaos, more focus. Where you put all your shit. Okay, you can organize it. Basically, make it even more easier for you. So hold on a minute. Just let me. So how you do that? Let's say you're doing a study on mental health, and you open multiple tabs and all those things. You create a project first before you do that, or what happened? They actually let me show you the video. Okay. The video will be easy. The video. Oh, cool. I'm not sure whether we can hear that. Okay. Can you hear? No. Very weak. It's a bit weak. I need to turn on the volume. Can you hear that? Maybe we just go into the site later and watch it on. No, we go into that site later. Yeah. I mean, if you guys are interested, just go to Wakana and then you can watch the video. Yep. See basically how it works. Yeah. Okay, so that's the website of the week. Thank you, Manfred. Yeah, that's the nice one. That's a good one. That's a good one. We probably need that. We needed that, man. Yeah, man. We have. I think these two questions are very important. I think I want to go through that. This is a very important one. So remember, if you guys want to actually join Adrienne in her wild journey to do all these things, and especially if you want to join her program, right? This is where you start with her. This is a group to start. Go in. Yeah. Explore first.
Can I just say something?
Sure, of course.
Don't listen to Jason. I'm not so serious all the time, man. If you come into the group, you'll see sometimes I can also come up with shit. Okay? It's serious shit like yeah, I mean it's not all about all this serious heavy stuff, okay? It's not about that, because I also believe being a little bit shitty, a little bit bitchy, a little bit fun helps here.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Anyway, join the group if you want to get to know Adrienne a bit more better, whether she's shitty, bitchy, serious, or just
I don't know.
Fun.
Maybe she's like, I don't know. So go over there and actually discover yourself, right? So that's where you go. All right. Now,
cool.
okay. Now I think we want to talk about this before we go. Seriously, I think this is something that we want to address. How to improve mental health. Is there anything that we can do ourselves, or is there really need some help? How?
A lot of things you can do yourselves, okay? Whether you're women, entrepreneur, man, head of family, leaders, boss, it's very important that you have to remember that you don't always put others before you. Okay, which brings us to the topic of self-care.
All right.
Okay. To put it very bluntly, self-care means don't care about other people, care about yourself. You must always remember that. You must keep time to do that. And by doing self-care, what does it mean? It can be very simple. It can just be ensuring you get plenty of sleep. It can just be that. It's like you can tell your whole family and say, tomorrow I'm waking up at 10. Do not wake me up before that. It can be leaving everybody else to watch TV and going to bed at 9:30. Who cares? I want to sleep. Right? It will also include eating well. Okay, not binge eating, not excessive eating, but just eating well. Be mindful about what you're eating. Okay, if you smoke, if you drink, if you like unhealthy food, if you can't quit, cut down. Right? One very simple act of self-care is by just going out of your house to get some sunlight. Okay, just to be in the sun for a little while, just to see some nature, just to feel the sun heat. Of course, I understand now we're going through a very hot season, so don't go too early lah. Go like about 6 o'clock, 6:30.
Perspire a bit lah.
Perspire a little bit, get some sun, get some air, get into either a fitness or a simple exercise routine, just to move your body. Doing something you enjoy. If you like to spend an entire hour on your headphone blasting to heavy metal, go ahead.
Guns and Roses.
Yeah. Metallica. Okay, and then
Linkin Park.
Yeah. Or pick up a new hobby like painting.
Yeah, that's true. I missed that, man. I missed that.
Yeah, nobody says you have to draw A4 what. You can always draw 4 inch by 4 inch, 10 cm by 10 cm, right? And do 3 if you're free. You're not free, do 1. No, that's also called art, right? Or the best thing actually that I encourage in my program is for everybody to start a journal. And the kind of journal I'm talking about is not the written journal. Okay, I encourage and I teach people to do art journal.
Art journal. Okay, do tell.
I don't know. I don't know whether you all would agree, because generally men not so into art, right? Okay, but never mind, I'll try.
Not Andrew, yes.
Yeah, I know. I suddenly found body. Okay, do you find that if you look at pictures, you tend to remember them better?
True.
Yes.
Given a 100-word passage and a picture that is quite nice, which would you remember better? Picture what, right?
Picture is 1,000 words.
I would think so lah. Generally, it should be picture. And that's the reason why I advocate for art journaling. Okay, art journaling is good because, when you're in this kind of mental state, you really got no mood to write composition, right?
Sure.
So who cares about writing about what I feel? Then after you spell salah, then you're not sure whether your vocab is right or wrong. You get what I mean? So you do art journaling, because art journaling, once you go through the program and I tell you what you could do, how you can make your mark, you can even create symbols that only you understand. Because a diary is almost secret, right?
It is.
So you would want to create certain things that only you understand, right? I mean, maybe you can draw a purple cow, and purple cow means that day you felt really good. Okay? Maybe a pink cow means, you felt lousy. You could
Right.
you could come up with your own symbols,
Yeah.
True also.
you know. And then when you do up an art journal, you can document and you will be able to identify if you go through after a while, what are the worrying patterns. Right? You
Jason,
may
imagine
know
it'd be cool, right? Your personal profile now, you just journal your art and you don't tell people what it's about, you just put it up there. And you understand only your best. So suddenly you put a purple cow, the next day you put a pink cow, and people ask what happened, it's none of your bloody business.
exactly.
Journal online.
Of course, there are a lot
that's
of
very
other
true.
ways other than cows. There are a lot of other ways you can
other symbols and also that you can use now.
exactly. So rather than just recording negative emotions, you should also record your moments of celebration of joy. Right? It's up to you how you want to represent it, right? Like tonight we had an art journal session. I have another art journal group with a bunch of ladies, and we
Can
were
Andrew
going
join?
through. Can. I'm sure they'll be very happy. But he just needs to turn up with his pink hairband, that's all.
Hey,
My
the pink
daughter
hairband.
confiscated that already.
Oh, okay.
You are not
So,
allowed to
like
use mine.
art journal, you can always even just cut out pictures and paste. You don't even have to draw.
Oh, that's true.
Because what we want is that vision to get into our head, to remind us of what's bad, what not to do again, and what's good to be happy about. Right? So these are all the part and parcel of self-care. And I really think journaling is a very powerful tool.
Art journaling.
Of course, you can write lah, but what I mean is you don't have to fill it up with words. You know,
No, I like the
sometimes
idea. I like the idea.
yeah, if it's a short quote of 5 words and it means something to you, then bloody hell, put it there, accompany it with some images to go with that mood you're in. And I'm sure 3 months, 6 months down the line, when you flip through, those are moments that only can you imagine? I'm getting goosebumps. The moments where only you will recognize. Maybe you cried your eyes out, but nobody know. Even when I look at a journal, I didn't know you cry your eye out because maybe you use blue dots to signify that day you was really very keksim, you know.
Yep.
So these are things that will make you grow as a person mentally.
Okay, maybe I should try. Since I have a blank one here anyway.
Yeah, don't always have to be words. Yes,
so
my
to
friend.
interrupt, I interrupt a bit. If you notice, a lot of people who say you just write down all the things, all the points you want to do. You're halfway there. So same thing. What you say, art journal is just take out what is in your mind and put it in a physical form. Then you will see it. So sort of like a release.
True. I also encourage some people, like, we have to-do lists. For example, this lady, she wants to remind herself of the 5 things to buy when she goes to the supermarket. So instead of writing it down as a practice, draw it out.
Wow.
Right?
I would take like 2 hours only. I can get through the door.
No, but like I say, those symbols that you understand, you will know what is your art standard.
Oh yeah, true. You don't need to
How
do the
to draw
Picasso
dark
thing,
soya
right?
sauce.
If you draw a fish, but your fish means pork, then so be it lah. Because only you understand as long as you buy
Symbols
the correct thing.
Symbols. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a practice, do something like that, and you will find that in no time, you will want to improve, right? Because when you look at your own drawings and you say, not up to par, the next time I want to draw a nicer one, you will want to have that kind of improvement.
I will draw a bottle GSS.
Before you know it, then you're going to turn out another 10, 20 years later, you become another Leonardo da Vinci.
You never know. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Check that
well,
out.
That's what Leonardo does. He sketches ideas, he sketches stuff. And from there, each of the ideas or sketches you notice, okay, that's the conspiracy side of it. But there are messages in his sketches. There are certain elements of rebellion, certain elements of what in all his sketches, or even the arts or the painting that he That's why a lot of people are still going through this Mona Lisa, and then what is it
Andrew,
means. And
you're probably talking about mark making.
No, not only that. The whole, if you draw the whole thing, to people it means something else, but to him, there are different set of messages.
Yes, so
Especially
in art,
the Last Supper.
a very common term is mark making. Mark making can just be dashes. It can also be a more elaborate drawing.
Yeah, that's true.
So making all this mark that only he himself as the artist understands.
Correct.
Yeah. In fact, tonight we not only discovered there is a purple Manfred, we also have an artsy Andrew over here. Check that out. That's a very interesting one. I think that, thank you so much. I think we have got something that we can do right now. It's a good takeaway, but nonetheless, if you guys want to go further, right, please feel free to join this group. I already put it on the comment. Right, go to join Adrienne's group and have fun. See other sides of her over there inside the Facebook group. But nonetheless, thank you so much for joining us today, Adrienne.
We love you.
Very honored to be with 3 men on my own.
Oh, say, man, don't tell your husband.
Huh?
The 3 men on your own. Don't. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so that wraps today's so-called the episode 47. Yeah, episode 47.
47. 3 more episodes to hit the big 50.
Yeah, man, we are halfway through our 100 marathon.
Would that be a party?
I don't know.
50th episode, would that be a
Maybe
party?
we will get Manfred singing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We see how it goes.
We'll do a 1 hour session of karaoke with Manfred, and we'll just handle the music.
1 hour. Wait, don't lah. No lah. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. I think it's a very meaningful one. Remember, it's a trying time. It's just really everybody have to take care of their mental health, on top of your physical health, and that's the thing and that's the reason why we have the honor to have Adrienne here to share with us some tips on how you should actually do a bit of self-care. That's the thing. All right, that wraps.
Start to do quite a bit. Don't do just a bit. Quite a bit.
Do quite a bit. Keep doing it until you have to.
You have to
let
this pandemic.
You have to.
We're gonna come out of this pandemic alive.
We'll always get out on the other side stronger. That's what we believe.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so that
wraps
the session. Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Yeah,
Good
thank
night,
you, everyone.
everyone.
And see you in the next week. See you next week. Thanks. Bye. Good night.
All right. Cheers. Good night. Bye.